The Central Park Injustice, New York, 1989. In the spring of 1989, a 28-year-old woman named Tricia Maley was brutally beaten and raped in Central Park, New York City. She was found unconscious and only regained consciousness several weeks later in the hospital. As the city was in turmoil, the police arrested 5 teenage boys. Kevin Richardson, 14, Antron McCray, 15, Yusef Salam, 15, Raymond Santana, 14, and Corey Wise, 16. They were African American and Latino. The police coerced them into falsely confessing to the crime. Their statements contradicted each other, and there was no physical evidence linking them to the assault. Nevertheless, in 1990, they were found guilty and sentenced to between 5 and 15 years in prison. This case exposed major flaws in the U.S. justice system, including racial profiling and police brutality. Public opinion was divided. Some supported the boys, while others referred to them as a wild gang. Businessman Donald Trump even paid for full-page ads in 4 major newspapers, demanding the death penalty for them. A turning point, 2002. Years later, in 2002, a man named Matias Reyes, who was serving time in prison, confessed to being the real perpetrator. DNA evidence confirmed his claim. The 5 teenagers were officially exonerated, and their convictions were overturned. In 2014, the city of New York paid them $41 million in compensation. Wrongfully imprisoned Corey, 13 years in search of justice. New York, April 1989. 16-year-old Corey Wise had no idea that his world was about to collapse when he went out one evening with his friend Yusef Salam. He simply decided to accompany his friend to the police station. "It's not about me. I'll be out in an hour," he thought. But how could he know that he was about to say goodbye to his entire youth? Pressure, threats, and a false confession. At the police station, they were separated and interrogated for long hours. Corey was exhausted and sleep-deprived. He wasn't given any food or water. The police told him, "Your friend gave you up. You did it. If you sign this, you can go home. Your mom won't hear about this. Just confess." Corey didn't even understand what he was writing. No lawyer or family members were present during the interrogation. He just wanted to go home, so he confessed to a crime he didn't commit. A few days later, that confession became the main piece of evidence, and the trial began. There was no DNA evidence. The victim didn't recognize any of them, but still the fate of 5 boys was sealed with those 4 statements. The courtroom, always harsher for black boys. In 1990, Corey and the other 4 boys were convicted. Corey received the longest sentence, 15 years, because he was 16 and could be tried as an adult. The courtroom was packed. Journalists, police in uniform, angry citizens. The image of the white female victim was on every newspaper. Businessman Donald Trump, who later became president, paid for full-page ads calling for the return of the death penalty. Corey looked at his mother and simply nodded. "Mom, I didn't do anything." Prison, a living hell. Corey was sent to an adult prison. Everything there was different. From the very first days, he was beaten. He was kept in solitary confinement, poisoned by food, unable to sleep at night. Every day was filled with hatred, abuse, and fear. Once, prison guards beat him with leather straps and left him half naked. He spent half a year in psychological isolation. How does a person survive prison for a crime they didn't commit? Corey asked himself every day. But one thing kept him from breaking. He believed that God would reveal the truth, even if it came late. His mother's and sister's letters kept him alive. "You're always in our hearts," his sister once wrote. Hope returns. In 2001, after 12 years behind bars, Corey was approached by another inmate, Matias Reyes. "Corey, you're innocent." "I'm the one who did it," he said. Corey didn't believe him at first, but soon it became clear that Matias had indeed been convicted of rape in other cases. It also came to light that he had assaulted several other women during the time he was free. Matias gave a DNA sample. It matched perfectly with the DNA from the Central Park case. In 2002, Corey Wise and the other boys were exonerated. Freedom, delayed but clean. When Corey walked out of prison, New York had changed. But the most important thing was the world now knew he was innocent. He didn't say much. He simply walked to his mother's grave and laid flowers. "I didn't listen to you, Mom, but I'm innocent." In 2014, the city awarded them $41 million in compensation. Corey donated part of his share to helping others. He has since become a public speaker and advocate for justice. Corey Wise, The Fight for Freedom. 2002 Freedom. After 13 years behind bars, Corey emerged from prison unable to look directly into the sunlight. His eyes had grown accustomed to the darkness of his cell. Even simple aspects of daily life overwhelmed him. The noise of buses, the laughter of crowds, the smells of the city, everything felt unfamiliar. The hardest moments came when he was alone. Corey would often wake in the middle of the night, momentarily believing he was still in a prison cell. He'd sit in silence for hours, staring at the wall. The sounds of prison haunted him, the clanking of locks, slamming of metal doors, distant shouting. Prison took something from me. Even when I'm among people, I feel alone. And yet, even in that loneliness, the spark of hope never fully died. Corey wasn't just seeking freedom. He was looking for purpose. Starting over, but the wounds were deep. Many believed that receiving compensation would fix everything. But the truth was far more complex. Corey didn't want money. He wanted the childhood and the peaceful life that had been stolen from him during his most formative years. He moved into an apartment on his own, but peace still eluded him. His body tensed every time he saw the police. In stores, he stood near the exit, just in case he needed to escape quickly. Corey resisted therapy. In prison, he had learned the rule, never show weakness. But in the outside world, he had to unlearn that lesson. One evening, he happened to hear an interview with Yusef Salaam on the radio. Our voices were finally heard. Now, we must help others. That night, Corey saw a therapist for the first time and quietly let his tears fall. A foundation, an array of hope. In 2015, Corey founded the Corey Wise Freedom Fund. Its mission, to provide legal aid to wrongfully incarcerated youth, to support educational opportunities for Black and Latino teenagers, to help formerly incarcerated individuals reintegrate into society. This time, Corey wasn't ashamed to put his name on it. My name used to bring me shame. Now, that same name stands for resistance. In 2020, the University of Colorado opened the Corey Wise Innocence Project, a research and advocacy center named in his honor. One of the highest recognitions for someone who fought for justice. Emotional reunions. Years later, Corey reunited with the 4 other men, Yusef, Antron, Raymond, and Kevin. Each of them had become an advocate. Whenever they met, they sat in silence. But their eyes spoke volumes. One day, Corey said, "You know, the greatest punishment was not prison. It was the life they stole from us. But now we're reclaiming that time. One day, everyone can reach justice." We're the proof of that. Netflix series, The Moment the World Finally Heard. In 2019, Netflix released When They See Us, a series about the case. Actor Gerald Jerome played Corey Wise and won an Emmy Award for his role. Corey watched the series alone. Each scene brought memories rushing back. The cell he slept in, the beatings, the moments he couldn't speak. At the end, he looked at the screen and said, "They see me now. Finally." Corey Wise, a quiet warrior. Today, Corey lives a quiet life in New York City. He attends public events, speaks at schools, and tells children, stand by your friends, but always speak the truth. Stay educated, so you never end up in situations like ours. He speaks softly. He doesn't shout, but his eyes carry the weight of history. Conclusion: justice, though late, must come. Corey Wise was wrongfully imprisoned, walked through hell, yet chose not hatred, but compassion. His life is a key to understanding racial injustice in America. His journey gives hope to anyone fighting for justice.